Have you ever noticed that no matter how much your salary increases, you never seem to feel that much richer? You got a raise last year, maybe 5%, maybe even 8%. You felt good about it for a week, and then somehow, a few months later, you're in the exact same financial position you were before. Still living paycheck to paycheck, still stressed about unexpected expenses, still unable to save the way you think you should. And here's the strange part. This isn't just you. This is almost everyone. Across income levels, across professions, across entire generations. So either we're all collectively terrible with money, or something else is happening. Something systematic. Something designed. Today, I want to show you how the modern financial system works, not as a conspiracy theory, just as a mechanism. And once you understand the mechanism, you'll see why feeling financially squeezed isn't a personal failure. It's the intended outcome. Let me tell you about Rebecca. She's 29. She lives in Denver, Colorado. She works as a project coordinator at a tech company. 5 years ago, she was making $48,000 a year. Today, she makes $68,000. That's a 42% increase. She should feel significantly better off, right? Here's what actually happened to Rebecca's money. 5 years ago, at $48,000, she took home about $3,100 a month after taxes. She rented a studio apartment for $950. Her car payment was $280. Insurance was $115. She had a student loan payment of $220. Her total committed expenses were about $1,565, leaving her with $1,535 for everything else. It was tight, but manageable. Now, at $68,000, she takes home about $4,300 a month. That's $1,200 more. But let's see where it went. Her studio became too small, so she upgraded to a one-bedroom. It's in the same area, nothing fancy. That's $1,450 now. Her old car died, so she financed a newer used car. The payment is $410. Insurance went up to $140 because the car is newer. Her student loan payment is still $220. So far, her committed expenses are $2,220. That's an increase of $655. But we're not done. When she got her raise, she also got engaged. She and her fiancé are splitting a lot of costs now, but she's also paying for wedding expenses, about $200 a month going into a wedding fund. Her health insurance premium went up when she changed jobs. It's now $180 instead of $140. She bought a gym membership because she's sitting at a desk more. That's $65. Her grocery bill increased because she's cooking for two sometimes, even though they split it. That's about $50 more a month. Add it all up, and Rebecca's new monthly committed expenses are around $2,715. She has about $1,585 left. Wait, 5 years ago she had $1,535 left. Now she has $1,585. After a 42% salary increase, she has $50 more per month in discretionary income. $50. This is what I mean when I say the system is designed this way. Rebecca's rent didn't increase because her landlord is greedy. It increased because rents in Denver increased 35% over 5 years. That's the market. Rebecca's car payment didn't increase because she was irresponsible. It increased because used car prices went up 45% during the pandemic and never really came back down. Her insurance went up because everyone's insurance went up. The cost of living didn't increase randomly. It increased systematically. And here's the key. It increased at roughly the same rate as wages. Let me show you the math behind this. Between 2019 and 2024, median wages in the United States increased by about 20%. That sounds good, but median rent increased 31%. Median car prices increased 38%. Health insurance premiums increased 22%. Groceries increased 25%. Notice a pattern? The things you need to survive increased faster than your income. This isn't an accident. This is how an economy based on continuous growth works. Businesses need to increase revenue every quarter. Real estate investors need to maximize returns. Insurance companies need to increase profits. So prices go up, and wages go up too, but just enough to keep people participating in the system, not enough to get ahead of it. Rebecca's $20,000 raise over 5 years sounds significant, and it is compared to her past self. But when you account for inflation and the rising cost of necessities, she's basically running in place. She's earning more, spending more and ending up in the same position. This is called the hedonic treadmill in psychology, but financially, it's more than that. It's structural. Now let's talk about why Rebecca didn't notice this happening in real time. There's a cognitive bias called nominal wage illusion. Basically, our brains focus on the number on our paycheck, not the purchasing power of that number. When Rebecca got a raise to $68,000, she felt richer because $68,000 sounds like a lot more than $48,000. The number went up. That feels like progress. But purchasing power is what actually matters, and her purchasing power barely moved. Here's the other psychological factor: lifestyle creep. This is what happens when your spending increases to match your income. Not because you're being reckless, but because the world around you adjusts to what you can now afford. When she was making $48,000, a $950 studio made sense. When she started making $68,000, that studio felt too small. It felt like she was behind her peers who had one-bedrooms. She could afford the upgrade, so why not? When her car broke down, she could have bought another $8,000 used car with cash. But she was making more money now. She qualified for a better loan. The salesman showed her something more reliable, newer, safer. It felt responsible, and it was only $130 more per month. She could afford it. Every individual decision made sense, but the cumulative effect is that her lifestyle expanded to consume her income growth. And this is where the system shows its real design, because companies know this happens. Landlords know that when people get raises, they'll pay more rent. Car dealerships know that when people get raises, they'll finance nicer cars. Credit card companies know that people will spend up to their new limit. The system expands to absorb your income growth before you can convert it into wealth.
Let's project Rebecca's situation forward another 10 years. If she continues on this path, her salary will probably reach around $95,000 by the time she's 39. That's nearly double what she made at 24. It sounds like massive progress, but her rent will likely be around $2,100. Her car payment, if she replaces her car again in 6 years, will probably be $500 or more. If she and her fiancé buy a house, her mortgage could be $2,400. If they have a child, childcare in Denver runs about $1,500 a month. She'll be making $95,000 and still living paycheck to paycheck, just at a higher tier of expenses. Here's what she won't have: meaningful savings. At 39 years old, she might have $40,000 in a retirement account if she's been contributing 5% and getting an employer match. She might have $15,000 in an emergency fund if she's disciplined. That's not nothing, but it's not wealth. It's not freedom. It's not optionality. Meanwhile, let's think about what could have happened differently. If Rebecca, when she got that $20,000 raise over 5 years, had kept her lifestyle exactly the same and invested the difference, she'd have been putting away about $1,200 a month. Over 5 years at a 7% return, that's roughly $85,000. That $85,000 would now be generating about $6,000 a year in returns on its own. And if she continued that pattern for another 10 years, she'd have over $400,000 by 39. That's the difference between being trapped in the system and being outside of it. So why do some people break out of this pattern while most don't? It's not because they're smarter. It's because they understand one fundamental principle. The system is designed to extract your income growth, so you have to actively protect it. Financially intelligent people don't let their lifestyle inflate with their income. They understand that a raise isn't an invitation to spend more. It's an opportunity to build a gap between income and expenses. And that gap is where wealth comes from. Here's a real example. I know someone who graduated with a degree in engineering in 2015. His starting salary was $65,000. By 2020, he was making $95,000. That's a $30,000 increase. Most people would have upgraded their apartment, bought a nicer car, started eating out more. He didn't. He kept living with roommates. He kept driving the same used Corolla he bought in college. He kept cooking most of his meals. His lifestyle cost stayed at around $2,500 a month, and he invested everything else. By 2024, he had over $250,000 in investments at 31 years old. And now that $250,000 is generating about $17,500 a year in passive income. He didn't get lucky, he didn't inherit anything, he just refused to let the system absorb his income growth. This is what opting out looks like. Not leaving society, not going off-grid, just making a deliberate choice to not participate in lifestyle inflation. Here's what I want you to take away from this. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as intended. It's designed to keep you earning, spending, and participating. It's designed so that no matter how much you make, you feel like you need just a little bit more. And the strange thing is, it doesn't feel oppressive from the inside. It feels normal. Everyone around you is doing the same thing, getting raises, upgrading their lives, staying in place financially. But once you see the mechanism, you can't unsee it. Every time your income increases, the system will present you with opportunities to spend that increase. A nicer apartment, a better car, a vacation, nicer clothes, better restaurants. None of it feels frivolous in the moment. It feels like progress. But it's not. It's the system working. Real progress is when your assets grow faster than your expenses. Everything else is just running in place with better shoes. The good news is, you don't need to fight the system. You just need to see it clearly and make different choices. When you get your next raise, you'll have a decision to make. You can let your lifestyle expand to meet it, or you can protect it. You can play the game the way it's designed, or you can play it differently. Neither choice is wrong, but only one of them leads somewhere different than where you are now. If this changed the way you see your own financial life, consider subscribing. I break down these patterns every day. Calmly, clearly, no hype, just the reality of how money actually works.
Thanks for watching.